what might some people not be aware of in their relationships because of their attachment styles being insecure, that they're having disharmony in relationships? What does that typically look like? What are the clues for that?
Let's start with the biochemicals, because that usually shakes most people pretty badly. So when you have poor attachment, whether it's anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, or disorganized, what tends to happen is your oxytocin is very low. When your oxytocin is very low, your GABA is very low. When your GABA is low, your cortisol is high and unregulated all the time. When that's low, or when that's high, your serotonin is very low. Okay. Your melatonin is also very low. So you have insomnia quite often. A lot of people have insomnia nowadays. That's one major reason why. So you're looking at low oxytocin, low serotonin, low GABA, and then this other bonding hormone, vasopressin. When we solve problems with people, we build trust through this bonding hormone called vasopressin. It sends a signal to our brain that says, this person's my ally. I should prioritize being with them. Okay, it's not romantic. Men have more receptors for it than women do. Women have them, but men have more. Okay, you're low on all of those when you have attachment issues. All that you have left is dopamine, unregulated cravings for dopamine all the time. Now, men focus on this because we should be getting intimacy, trust, love, connection with our family, our friends, and with a partner. And instead, we reprogram through dopamine.
Is that
addiction is one big one.
And then social media, obviously,
social
for
media,
women too. It's
sugar and food addictions, video game addiction, gambling addiction, hookup culture, one-night stands. Men actually get a lot of dopamine through sex and casual sex. Men don't release oxytocin the way that women do typically during climax or during casual sex experiences, especially with a partner they're not connected to. I call this the cheeseburger effect. The woman goes in and has sex, and suddenly he's the best friend she's ever had in her life. He goes in and says, wow, that was a really tasty hamburger. I'll come here again when I'm hungry. And that's what's destroying women in hookup culture right now. It's devastating them because they think, a lot of women go out and say, if I have sex with him, he will love me. And a lot of women think that's all they offer, because a lot of women have never been in their feminine state. They've never been in their parasympathetic bonding system. They're not able to integrate successfully with the male nervous system. The female and male nervous systems actually are symbiotic. They work together. When the male nervous system keeps her safe and calm and regulated, he goes out into the horror and disaster of the world, experiences stress with a different system than hers and absorbs it, comes back calm and reintegrates with her. She pulls him and guides him into his parasympathetic and rests him. And that's actually where he begins to produce more human growth hormone for wound healing and muscle growth. He produces oxytocin that actually resolves his sleep. A lot of avoidant men, they go and they connect with a loving woman finally for the first time. And then he'll say, I sleep better when I'm at your house. It must be the blankets. And they don't understand that he's resting his nervous system with her, and she's integrating the way that women and wives are designed to rest and heal us, right? Our nervous systems. Do
they have to go to bed at the same time for that?
It's better if they do, but it's a lifestyle.
Interesting.
I call this the oxytocin pipeline. We can get into that at some point of how you build intimacy, safety, and love together and all of that. But men need to integrate with the female nervous system. And if we can't, we die. We die very quickly. Men, a lot of times, will get cancer at age 45 and up. A lot of men today in their 20s and 30s are experiencing, I don't know if I could say these words here, but erectile dysfunction at rates we've never seen before. And it's because oxytocin in long-term relationships especially is the primary driver of arousal for men. And when they don't have that, they have to rely on dopamine, which is very short-term based. 5 to 7 months into a relationship, his novelty dopamine with a woman dies and his desire for her dies. And she wonders why, just as she's oxytocin bonding with him and really investing and wants to get married now. And he now never experiences pleasure with her again. Avoidant men don't experience that. They're not vasopressin bonding because they're not solving problems together. And this is the biggest problem with attachment issues in general, is you don't solve problems with people. So you don't vasopressin bond. So trust isn't built. And fascinatingly, when we take mammals and we inject vasopressin into them, if that mammal was cheating before, it ceases all cheating and becomes very protective and loving and monogamous. If we take animals who are highly monogamous and connected and block their vasopressin receptors, they begin cheating. Vasopressin is one of the biggest indicators of monogamy. We are rewarded for solving problems with our loved ones.
Well, and it's so beautiful because like human beings uniquely can be monogamous because we can choose to love and we can choose to be rational and figure things out together like you're describing. It builds trust and special bonds. Right. And the animal kingdom, they don't have, I mean, a lot of the animal kingdom doesn't have monogamy. Some of it does, of course, but it's something special about humans.
And this is a good point, because a lot of people say, especially men, I will just sacrifice my happiness and never feel pleasure or joy again after that 5 to 7 month window. I will just never feel good again and just choose to be in this dry marriage where we barely have sex and it's unhappy, right? We always say the wife's sex drive dies at 1 year. That's because at the female sex drive, if she's not feeling safe, secure, and securely bonded, her sex drive will die at 1 year, even in marriage, because it's just performative after that to make him happy. But even that starts to dry up. And then the man's novelty dopamine is gone at 5 to 7 months if he's not securely attached, right? So we look at
Is this the
sexless
oxytocin
marriages.
pipeline?
This is if we don't get it. Yeah, if we don't get it, insecure attachment. The man's sex drive dies at 5 to 7 months, and he's there just for the dopamine. He forgets she's even in the room while he's having his sex
insecure
experiences.
attachment to her.
To everybody, but yeah, especially to her.
He's an insecure attached,
Yes.
but it'll of course impact the relationship.
Yes.
Okay, I want to go down that
Let's do
track
it.
that you're doing, and I want to hear about the oxytocin pipeline. So let's do that next.